lads. Why is everyone queuing? I'm to in the shop.
Alright. Nice to see you. See you.
Why are you queuing?
Pardon?
What are you queuing for?
Help from Social Security.
Oh, okay.
People that need help with that can't afford the prices.
All right.
This is from supermarkets giving out
Oh,
to
nice.
the needy people.
Nice. Cool. Oh, good luck. Good luck. Cheers, man. Cheers, you too. Hey, can I tell you something you're probably young enough to want to know?
Yeah.
You know NASA faked going to the moon. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever looked into the flat Earth theory?
There's a reason why this man picked on you.
Well, let me tell you, my friend, I'm 50 odd years old, and I discovered just 7 years ago that they never went to the moon, that the ISS is easily fakeable using all the camera trickery and harnesses and the zero-G plane and all that sort of stuff. They are probably faking the ISS. I don't think they can get more than 200 miles, maybe 100 miles up into the sky.
Yeah, no, because you got to think about the force of the atmosphere. You got to think about the force of the atmosphere as well. As soon as they send something up like that.
Yeah, second law of thermodynamics. Yeah, it should be sucked off in an instant if there was like a vacuum against this zero barrier between the atmosphere and that, right?
Yeah.
And there's a reason why they're lying to us about it, because the truth is that we're the center of the universe. We are the center of the universe, and whatever this creation is designed for is designed to give you a rich experience.
Yeah.
So try and take your life in that way. Sorry. I'll tell you what. We are in public. I am allowed to record. It's
No,
not.
you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Why not? In public space, we're allowed to record.
No, you're not.
All right.
Go away.
Well, I'll keep walking, but we are allowed to record. It's a matter of
You're
fact.
not. Go
So
away.
the council can record you. You don't mind that?
Go away.
Well, you can. I'm on my way, but you don't need to shout at me. I'm not being unkind.
Away.
Just go away for 5 minutes, she'll be gone.
All right.
She'll pick up her feet and go.
All right. Thank you. Well, it's not all love and light in Glastonbury, as you can tell. Not all love and light. But that was an interesting conversation and an opportunity to talk to someone. I can turn the phone around. I remember that now. Yeah. I don't want to have them kicking off. That's not necessary, but at the same time. The thing is that people are so, caught up in the brainwash. I had a wonderful conversation a minute ago with two ladies. I didn't film it. I didn't start with the camera in my hand, so I didn't really want to whip it out. But, yeah, I had a good conversation with that young man, unfortunately. Not everybody is in love with everybody anymore. Much. Understandable. Given the brainwash. Given the deception of the pressures, and these people are standing in a queue. Getting some handouts, which is nice for them, and it's nice that it's able to be done, but it's sad that we're in such a state that there is so much lack or so little abundance. We're meant to be living in an abundant world, which is rich with natural resources. They'll get free, nasty pies that are made of, whatever. Anyway, but it should be abundant. Not what it is. It's Saturday, mid-afternoon, Glastonbury, England. The shop, you might remember ZZ playing drums in here a long time ago. Well, it feels like a long time ago. Really, sometime last year, of course. Yeah, Glastonbury. This town is dead. Hey man, enjoy the coffee. I see you wearing the camo gear like me, man. Were you in the military, or was that something from the...
I sleep rough, and have been sleeping rough for quite a while, and some bloke gave it to me.
Oh, nice.
His jacket.
Nice. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
32.
32.
I'm in a especially good mood because So
Do you mind if I film you a moment?
No,
I have a, you don't
so
mind?
I was a heroin addict
Yeah.
for many years,
Yeah.
and today is the first day where I'm come off the medication, and I'm absolutely clean
Awesome.
and void of all drugs.
Right,
So
right, nice
I'm
one.
absolutely teetotal. I don't drink.
Oh, awesome. What's
Apart
your
from
name?
Smoke cigarettes. Tom.
Yeah, I think marijuana is a good medicine if you're not feeling really well. It's not for everyone.
So now I'm going to eat my lunch, have this
Yeah,
coffee.
yeah.
I'm going to go see friends, get some hash.
Oh,
I
yeah.
eat it
Okay.
rather than smoke.
Yeah, it's better for you to kind of ingest it, I think, than having to burn it, for sure. You know, if you've got a vape or something like that. But yeah, eating it. And I used to make, before the police took my weed stuff, I used to make oil with it, you know? And that can cure a whole bunch of shit. But heroin, man, much respect that you walked away from that, eh? What were you on after the heroin? What was it like? What did they have you on? Methadone, is it?
Methadone,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had my last dose about 2 days ago, so
Awesome,
yeah, it's
man.
all out my system now.
What's your name?
Tom.
Tom, I'm Dave. Good to meet you.
Sit, man.
I'm a little bit older than you, but this camo jacket I'm wearing, I actually took it off a burning vehicle in a war zone in Angola in 1987.
Wow.
No shit.
Wow.
I wrote a book about it, well, not about the jacket, but about the tank battles I was involved in. So I went through some shit for my
Yeah,
country.
yeah.
Actually, I was born in England, but it was in South Africa. I was raised there, so I did my national service. But it turns out it's all a lie, Tom. Hey, they are fucking with us. You know why? You know why? Because you, my friend, are of the Creator. You are. I don't know what if you know of God or Gaia or whatever. I don't have a name necessarily. This God, this Creator of everything, doesn't need a name because it is everything, and there's no need for language, gender, none of this stuff. If you're that, right? But what that entity did was it created a habitat for itself to come and have this beautiful experience.
Sure.
And something over the last few centuries, I don't know, thousands of years, but something has gotten in the way and is skewering your opportunity to have a beautiful, rich, growing experience.
Well, yeah. I've got an over one hurdle at the moment, so on to the next.
Yeah. No. Well, now what I'm offering you is this idea that actually you may be the center of creation. You may be Jesus. You may be like the Christ,
I thought
if you
about
like.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
before. Sure.
No, you may. Each of us may be the inheritors of God's creation, if you like. The fathers,
I'm
the
with you,
daughters,
I'm
and
with
the
you.
sons of the Creator. And this system here, for some reason, either it just wants to put you through a whole series of life tests and see if you can come through the other end and grow from it, or it's like some sort of, let's say, nefarious system that is intentionally messing with us all
Could be a test
to hold
man.
us back. But take it as a test, and you've come through a massive hurdle, my
Thank
friend.
you.
So good luck
I'm
with your
gonna
life.
trip on and find myself
Yeah.
a cigarette.
Good luck with your life, my friend. All the best. Ah, well, nice little convo here in Glasgow. So much programming, you know, even in the people who... I could turn and talk at the same time. I didn't know I could do that with this phone. Wow. I just turned the camera. Huh. It's like being on a live. So, hi. Yes, it's true, this jacket I did acquire. And I wanted to mention that because I'm probably going to give it away. Anyway, I never wore it actually. For all the years, I've only worn it this last year because the situation maybe requires it. But the indoctrination in everybody is so strong that, you know, Tom there is going to have to wade through a raft of indoctrination before he can get to that point where he's willing to kind of see that. And most people I know are like that, you know, even people in flat earth, people who know that we're all not on flat earth, but and I could be indoctrinated, I could still be clinging on to certain indoctrination, but I'm trying to stick with things that I know. And of course I had the DMT experience, so I know we are of God. Maybe not God in obviously in totality, but God in spirit and in essence. And then when they stab you in the foot as a newborn child, they upset the rhythm and into that. Do you remember the video I did the other day with with the pelvis looking like the elephant's ears and stuff. And I think that the sacrum is the elephant. And if that sacrum, the elephant has a great memory, and if that sacrum is given a memory of trauma, instability, insecurity, fear right at the beginning of your life, then you've got to know that it's extremely difficult to unpick that. But yeah, I'll try and stick with things that I know and respectfully disagree with people who say that you have to believe a particular thing, a particular history, a particular narrative that we ourselves cannot actually physically show or demonstrate. Glastonbury. This place is dead, as you can tell. There's very few people around on a Saturday afternoon. 1 o'clock. It's not warm, but it's not unpleasant. There's a few people here. Maybe I can have a conversation with someone. I'm doing laundry at the moment, and I'm seeing Nick. You guys might know old Nick on YouTube. Nick and his family. Hey. Let's see. I noticed you earlier on in my truck. I noticed your shirt, the NASA shirt.
Yes.
You're English?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Have you ever been like to any of those places that NASA?
No, I haven't. It's just some clothing.
I want to offer you guys some information. I don't want to upset you or anything like that, but I'm 50 odd years old, and about 7 years ago I discovered that NASA faked the moon landing. And there's a brilliant documentary that shows how they did it. It's hard to hear, but the truth is they could not go to the moon then, and they can't go today, which is why in 50 years we've never been back. We've never been back. And all we've got on that is like CGI. All we've got is a rover up there, and they take images that really, those images could be from anywhere. If in a desert, I could take black and white stuff, I could make it look like anything.
So why can't they go there then?
Well, mainstream science says today they can't go because of the Van Allen radiation belts. These are said to be deadly belts of radiation about 1,000 miles to 12 or 20,000 miles away from the Earth. And these are highly, it's like going through a microwave basically. They say they don't have the shielding to get them through, but they got them through in 1968. After starting the space program just 10 years earlier, they were able to get them to the moon, and now 60 years after that, they don't go to the moon on holiday and stuff like that. Buzz Aldrin is on camera saying to a young girl of about 8 years old who says, "Why haven't we been back?" He says, "Well, that's a good question, but the truth is we never went." A guy called Bart Sabrell does a great documentary called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. He does in this documentary, on the next one he did, it was called Astronauts Gone Wild, where he goes up he interviews 10 of the 12 astronauts, and none of them will put their hand on the Bible and swear that they went to the moon. He offers them $5,000 to a charity of their choice. Put your hand on the Bible and swear you went to the moon. Buzz Aldrin punched him on camera. Neil Armstrong says to him, "Knowing you, Mr. Sabrell, that's probably not a real Bible, so I won't do it. But I promise you guys, if you had been to the moon and I came to you with $5,000 and I said, put your hand on any book, you'd do it. I'd stake my life on it. There's nothing to hide." But you see the interview in this first documentary he did of the three guys when they first come back to the moon. They are nervous. Their answers don't make any sense. Imagine being Lewis Hamilton, the Formula One driver, right? You've just won, the Formula One for the year. You get off and you're on the podium and you're talking to people, like, "Yeah, that race was incredible." It's like, "Well, it was this, was that," right? You're the first people that have been to space. You've seen Earth from the moon. You've been out in all these stars, and "Oh no, we couldn't see stars," or no, we did see stars, and these guys are not even answering the questions right. So you realize that, wow, are they staging all of space? Is that whole thing? Not sure about the ISS, but I can tell you how a lot of the tricks are probably done, like using harnesses, circus tricks, using CGI. There's plenty of images of glitches, CGI glitches when they're doing some of their stuff. There's even footage of harnesses as guys are floating by, or harnesses catching onto their clothing. And when Tim Peake, the UK guy, went, he did an interview with Channel 4, and 2 minutes into the interview they say, oh, show us your flip, you know, you're in space. He says, well, I'm not very good at it, I've just started, and boom, he does this flip just straight over, head over heels. His veins are popping out. He seems to fall partway through the spin, and like lands like he's doing a circus trick. Not like if you and I were in space and we can move anywhere, we're just doing this, woof, and we're going in all different directions, you know. And the closest they can come to that is when they go on that vomit comet, the 0G plane that they use. They can go up and then drop it for 45 seconds, and so fast that you actually are simulating gravity. Sandra Bullock did it in that movie Gravity. She looked like she was in space, right? If they can do it in Hollywood, they can do it in the military. So a few years ago, this came to my attention. And then what else came to my attention was that there's a formula for the curvature of the water on this globe that we live on, right? None of you will know it because we've never been taught it. But there is actually a formula where you can say, well, if I'm standing here and you're in France or you're somewhere else, 200, 300, 500 miles away from me, there's got to be a certain amount of bend, a certain amount of curvature, because eventually we're going to get all the way underneath this 8,000 mile diameter globe. Right? So I go into this and I'm like, whoa, so you mean from England to France at the closest point, there should be 300 feet of curvature, but yet I can see the white cliffs of Dover from France, all of them, on a clear day. Because we know that water is level. And a ship is not actually going down to France and then having to swim or sail back up that same hill that it went down on. No, because what they trick you with is relativity. They say wherever you're standing is the flat point, and then everything is bending down from you. So you say you're standing 100 miles from me, I'd say to you, you're lower than me because you're away. But you'd say to me, no, I'm lower than you because I'm down from you. In truth, it seems that the reality is that water really is level. There's only one ocean. There is actually, you can go and look this up, it's a matter of fact, there's only one ocean on Earth. And they always call it sea level. Whatever height we're at now, whatever height Kilimanjaro is or any of these mountains is, that's a height above sea level. When your plane flies, it flies at 30,000 feet above sea level. There's only one body of water. Take any body of water you can think of. Is it flat on a calm day? Is it flat like a mirror? The only way you get that mirror reflection is for it to be super flat. In fact, they make mirrors on a bed of oil because liquids will always find level. Even gases, they will always settle at their right buoyancy within the environment they're in. Right? That's how it all works. The fluid dynamics, what I'm thinking of, like say in like your deodorant can or your Coke can, for example. That can is under pressure, and until you break the seal, it'll stay under pressure. The moment you do, equalization occurs. Equalization of pressure, that's how things work. It's the second law of thermodynamics. You create a pressure in one place, and then you pop that balloon or whatever, poof, immediately it equalizes with the surrounding environment. So if we were in a gas bubble like they say we are, and there was a negative torr to the minus 14 or whatever, like a suction or vacuum, that would just pull the Earth's atmosphere off in a second. To create a vacuum chamber here, a massive one, they have to make these 6-foot steel walls, otherwise it'll just crumple in. Because a vacuum is such a powerful thing. And nature abhors that, and it will always seek to push the high to the low. It'll do that. It'll equalize, and that's the nature of the Earth that we live in. So we say the Earth is a level playing field. It's obviously got mountains and hills, but there's one sea level. Which means that the Earth has to be flat. Which is, I know, a crazy thing. It took me months of research at the age of 46 or whatever I was like months of research to make this right. I had to go back and study all my old science again and then go, no, I can't show, I can't prove, I can't evidence to my children that the Earth is spinning, and I can't evidence them that water will curve at any amount. Like the top of your glass there, it will never do that. It will always run off and it will settle in the groove, then overflow, land on the floor, run down this little slope until it gets to its pooling, and then continue to overflow and run again downhill. So if we lived on a ball, water would have to fall off, but gravity is given to you as the reason it doesn't. And that doesn't actually make sense. Can any of you tell me how fast we're spinning at the moment? Earth is spinning at a certain speed, 1,000 miles an hour. The Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, which is faster than the speed of sound. So in other words, I should be able to take a balloon up in the air hold it up there for an hour and I could be in Paris or somewhere else. That would be how that worked. But then they say, no, the atmosphere is all moving. So what's pulling the atmosphere? What would be pulling it? Because you spin a tire or whatever, the air's not going to just follow it. It's going to sort of drag with it, yeah, but it's going to lose speed the further you go away. But they say the further you go up in the atmosphere, it has to be moving faster in order for the column of air to stay with you as you roll through the Earth, through the space. Doesn't make sense. Then the sun is moving at what? 500,000 miles an hour. It's incredible. The galaxy itself is moving at 2 million miles an hour, something like that. There are 4 movements happening to our Earth, and we cannot detect any of them. Other than to say the stars are moving, right? But then if you guys are watching a football match and you see the football go over your head like that, you're not going to think the stadium just moved. It's like, no, the ball just moved over my head. Well, that's the sun moving over your head. And just like anything with perspective, when you start from far away, it seems low, and then as the plane approaches you, it seems to get higher and higher. Well, it's still cruising at 30,000, but it's just getting higher and higher because your perspective of it is altering. And then now it's at 30,000, there it's at 30,000 as well. And now it seems to be going into the horizon in the distance, but it's still cruising off to America or wherever. Is that not crazy? That is crazy, and I'm a published author. I'm not a crackpot. I'm wearing. I was just telling people on my thing. I'm wearing this jacket that I haven't worn since. Well, I found this on a burning vehicle in a combat zone in Angola in 1987. I was in a war and I wrote a book about it. Prince Harry took a copy off me. He wrote me a letter. Thanks for your book. Blah blah blah. I walked past the Queen a few years ago, and then I discovered that jeepers, everything I've ever learned is a lie. And why? This is the big question. Why would they go to such lengths to deceive you as to what's going on here? Because I was always looking for, why are we here? What are we doing here? What's the point of all of this? Is it simply go and work for NASA or wear Nike gear or all of this kind of stuff and get a job 9 to 5 in a square box with unnatural lighting? Basically be a tax slave and spend your whole life, most of us spend our whole lives working and end up at retirement just getting enough to get by. Is that the purpose of this whole beautiful creation? Well, if you believe that we once came from monkeys, like I used to, that we're on some spinning random ball that came out of a big bang, then you're maybe willing to accept that. But then I realized that no, this is not true. I had an experience with ayahuasca, which is a thing I saw God, essentially, from being an atheist to believing in monkeys and all of that, I saw God. And then I realized I had to go and research everything again. And I found out actually the truth is that we are the center of creation, that each of you has been given a divine birthright by God or creator or nature, whatever you want to call it, has been given a divine birthright to come and have a beautiful experience here, like a rich experience. And something has stolen that from us. Maybe it's just a test, but something has stolen that from us. And I go around as much as I can and try and share this with people that, wow, you may be the most important thing here. And your government should be you, not Tony Blair or whatever that blonde guy is at the moment. What's his name? Boris Becker Johnson. This is not your government. Government means mind control. Who should control your mind? You or Boris Johnson? I would not want a tool like that, telling me what to think, and me what to eat, and me what to do, and me when I could go this and where I could go that. I think we are moving into some sort of socialist, insane communist thing.
Please tell your name, because I'd like to have a look for you.
Oh, please do. Well, this YouTube channel that I'm recording for is called Trinity 4. And I picked up the nickname Trinity in the army, and I write about that in my book. The book is called Battle on the Lomba, 1987. It's available on Amazon. I would give you a copy, but I don't have any with me right now. I'm staying in where am I staying?
What you had to say really interesting.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Well, you'll find my channel. I'll go on YouTube, Trinity 4, the number 4. You'll find. I hope that you'll find my channel interesting. I used to talk at Speaker's Corner a lot. Yeah, doesn't that look like me? It's a few years ago. It's been really hard. I've been on a trip of Europe trying to tell people this stuff, a food trip around the UK, trying to explain a lot of this stuff to people, because actually, I never thought there was a purpose to life, and I, like everybody else, and not religion. I'm not into that. That's also mind control, by the way, in the main. And I does not mean to disrespect you if you have a religion, but truth is government, science, religion. These are all tools that have been given to us by the establishment, and they're all now, I see, are designed to propagandize or brainwash us into believing certain things about who we are, what this place is, why we always go to war. And I went to war. And after writing my book, someone said to me, the Americans, the Russians, they were all meeting with the South Africans and the Angolans in a hotel room in Luanda and talking about the battles that you were having. And one day on the 3rd of October, my unit, I was a squadron commander, my unit destroyed an entire brigade. It was a massive military victory, and it changed the whole story in Angola. I didn't know why we stopped fighting for about a week. We stopped fighting. It was like, why aren't we, we were in the war mind, why aren't we pressing on? And now I know why, because we had actually changed the storyline. They didn't want us to beat them in that way, because all wars are constructed to create a social dialectic, if you like, a way of controlling the people through taxation, but through fear mainly. To say, yes, you have an enemy there. It's the reds, the blues, the oranges. Doesn't matter, and they'll find an enemy in color and creed and religion and so on, and they'll use that to break us all apart, humanity. And God is, what I learned on this DMT experience, the ayahuasca experience, is that we are all one. This is an electromagnetic thing. We are all one, and our Creator is with us at all times. And when we die, we only leave this body, but we never die. I promise you, youngsters, that I was kind of fearful of death.
What was there then is here now and will always be.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. But I realize that we are so powerful, actually,
I'm
and
so sorry. We are going to have to go because we've got to go and eat now.
well, just to know that you cannot die. You don't die.
So, no, I agree.
But can I just can your picture? Because I've really enjoyed talking to you. I didn't want to film you and be rude, because sometimes people really don't enjoy it. But thank you so much. What are your names?
Zoe.
Zoe.
Amelia.
Amelia. Anicia. Oh, guys, I've got to tell you, I lost Pebbles for an hour, maybe a little longer. Having that last conversation, I completely put her out of my mind, and she normally sits with me or hangs with me. But thankness, I went back to. I didn't tell Alexander yet. But Nick and I found her. She was at a pet shop. Oh my Lord. Oh my gosh, Nick. We do live on a globe.
Yeah.
I'm with Nick.
Hey.
Hey. Tell people what your YouTube name is.
What's
Is it
that?
just Nick?
Old Nick.
Old Nick!
Without a K.
You all know Old Nick.
Bit of banger beats, bit of techno. If you like a bit of techno, come
Go
to
on.
Old Nick.
Go and
That's
check
my
out Old
plug.
Nick. Yeah, there you go.
Flat Earth DJ, the only Flat Earth DJ.
Really, isn't
reckon.
ODD a DJ? ODD TV, that guy?
Yeah, but that's more hip hop, isn't it?
I see.
Techno,
right.
progressive.
Okay, progressive house, trancey.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
I used to love that stuff. I still kind of do in a way. Some of it anyway.
Yeah.
And
we found Pebbles.
we found Pebbles! Oh, Pebbles! You've made my day. Now you're sniffing stuff. All right. Archie. I'm glad I noticed you earlier, Austin. I was driving a black truck and you looked over at me and I was like, I want to talk to him sometime.
Nice to meet
Thank you so much. Good luck. All the best. We are all one. Well, okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. That was that was exciting, and it went really well. Hey? So, lucky strike. I have to go back and get that laundry now. So, and nice to meet Amelia, and I'll have to go back over the names, but thank you so much for that little opportunity to share some love. I probably waffled on a bit too much, but I hope I covered the salient points. And anyway, it's all like practice in a way, isn't it? Because I think we have time. They've frightened us into believing that there's no time, and we have no time, and we can't, and we're under pressure, and this weakens us. So I think we need to take the pressure off ourselves about time. I think, everything in God's time, and if we have run out of time, then so be it, but we can't be fearful of that. And we have to And that's why I think they're shutting things down. They don't want us walking around the flat Earth. I think perhaps some of this truth must out. And when it's out, people are going to go crazy. They are already, but so if it's coming out, they want to make sure you're in your box, and there's very little room for maneuver if you're trying to tell people the truth, or what I think is the truth anyway. I do pray, I do ask God to be sure that I'm not misleading. That I would not want to do.